What's going on, party people? My name is Kevin, and today we're going to be looking at the AEK-971 and seeing what differences and similarities the gun has gone through from changing from BF3 to BF4. Ah yes, the AEK-971, part of the holy trinity of OP weapons back in Battlefield 3. And personally, my favorite gun in Battlefield 3. Fell in love with this gun back in the beta and did not look back anywhere from that. Once I shot this weapon, I'm like, this is my gun. And I stuck with it, my top weapon in Battlefield 3, and I've been using it a lot in Battlefield 4. And I went through some stats on this gun, and it's gone through a lot of changes recently, so I figured I'd share that with you guys, and hopefully actually make this into a series, because a lot of weapons from Battlefield 3 have carried over to Battlefield 4. So I thought I'd give you guys some stats, my thoughts and opinions, and what the loadouts should be for the weapon, and just kind of some general information that will help you guys out choosing your weapons and getting some better knowledge of the game, or of your weapon, because I figured they'd just do a copy and paste job from Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4, but that is certainly not the case with the AEK. Now, before I go any further into weapon stats and information, I want you guys to know I got my information from Synthic.com. That's where a lot of YouTubers get their gun information for Battlefield and Call of Duty as well. So if you guys want to check out that website, if you're ever curious about any kind of weapon, about their stats and stuff like that, I got a link for that website down below. And I will be using the graphs from the website as well, because they just do a great job of showing visually how the weapon performs. So without further ado, let's jump into some stats here. First off, let's start with the AEK that we all know for sure, the Battlefield 3 version. As you can see on the graph on the screen, it has a 900 round per minute rate of fire with a 580 meter bullet velocity. So great rate of fire, close range action, can bail you out of a lot of sticky situations, as well as having a solid bullet velocity, so you won't have to lead your targets as much as you would some other guns. As you can tell, that the gun actually does also have a standard damage model for the assault rifles in Battlefield 3 to 25 down to 18.4, where the damage drop-off starts at 8 meters and ends at 50 meters. You'll hit the minimum damage at 50 meters. Also, a difference here is that you can tell in the reload times, a major difference happened between the two games, where in Battlefield 3, if you reloaded with one in the chamber, it was a 2.55 second reload time. And then if you had no bullets in the chamber, had to go through the full reload animation, it was a 3.68 time reload. So you gotta make sure that when you're firing the AEK, especially back in Battlefield 3, that you did not waste all your bullets, because you can shave off an entire second on your reload time without having to spend all your bullets. Now, a major difference between the Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 is the ADS and recoil accuracy. So the ADS in Battlefield 3, as most of us know, is a 0.3 ADS accuracy. And also the recoil pattern is much different, where it has a 0.5 pull left, a 0.2 pull up, and a 0.3 to the right. So when you fire this gun back at Battlefield 3, which I'm sure you all know, it would kick up and to the left, as I'll showcase right here. So here we are with the Battlefield 3 AEK, no attachments. We're just going to hold down the trigger and see where the gun takes us. And as you can see, it goes up and to the left, and as you can also tell, the significantly different reload animation. Now let's switch over to the Battlefield 4 variant of the AEK-971. As you can tell with the graph on the screen, it maintained its 900 round per minute rate of fire. Great thing about that. And also maintained its bullet velocity of 580 meters per second. Now the difference here you can tell on the damage chart is that it starts at the standard 25 damage for an assault rifle, and then goes down to the minimum of 18 damage. So a little bit less than Battlefield 3. But I'd say it's a noticeable enough amount at range to where you can notice the difference. But yet the damage drop-offs are at the exact same, where the maximum damage drop-off begins at 10 meters, and then you'll hit the minimum damage at 50 meters. And also here's another difference, is the reload times, where the short reload time has actually been shortened even more down to 2.3 seconds. So it's a little bit of a difference, not a whole lot, but certainly a change. And this, you can see right here that the long reload time is now 3.6 seconds. Not a huge difference, but it's a little bit noticeable. So here are the major differences between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 for the AEK. Is the ADS accuracy has been reduced down to 2 instead of 3 like in Battlefield 3, so the gun is now even more accurate. But also the biggest difference though is the recoil pattern. As you can tell on the screen, it has a .15 pull left, a .38 up, and a .4 to the right. So actually now when you shoot this gun, it's going to pull up and to the right a lot more than it did in Battlefield 3, as I will showcase now. As you can see, the gun now goes up and to the right instead of up and to the left like in Battlefield 4, and also take note of the slightly shorter reload time. Now let's see a side-by-side comparison when it comes to recoil and the reload time as well for this gun. Now we all know the basic setup in Battlefield 3, which was for pretty much any assault rifle in the game. It was heavy barrel, foregrip, and a red dot or cobra sight, and that was about all you ran with this gun. I didn't really find much use for anything else. If you did want to use it for the close quarters maps, take out that heavy barrel, add in a laser sight. But the hip fire on this gun isn't that great to where you would see much of an advantage using a laser sight compared to a heavy barrel. But luckily in Battlefield 4, they give us much more customization for our weapon, so this is what I would suggest to roll with. Alright, so now that we are well informed of what the AEK-971 does best, let's take it and make it even better. So let's go into the attachments here. For optic sight, I wouldn't go with anything more than a one-time scope at best, because this gun is made for close to mid-range engagements. There's plenty of other weapons in the game that do mid to long range much better than the AEK. So I would say let's take what it does best and make it even better. So I prefer the Coyote sight. I don't have that unlocked yet due to battle packs, but I would go with the Cobra sight. Personally, that's my favorite because that's what I ran with in Battlefield 3. For the accessory, I like to go with you can go with either a laser sight or flashlight or laser sight flashlight combo. I want to go with a magnifier just because, like I said, this gun is made for close to mid-range. You're trying to make the gun do something that's not meant to do. And canted iron sights you will not need because it's for close range engagements, and you don't need 2 close range sights, if you catch my drift. So personally, I like to go with just a tri-beam laser. This is my preference to that. Now for the barrel, this is where you can kind of choose how you want to do it. It's kind of up for your personal preference, because you can either go. I would suggest either going with a muzzle brake or a compensator, because with a suppressor, this also would be a good attachment for this gun as well. But the thing is, you lose damage over range, and your hip fire gets even worse. Personally, I would go with a compensator because this controls the muzzle drift compared to the muzzle brake, which controls the muzzle climb. And so this gun has a little bit more drift than climb, as we saw earlier in the stats, so I would go with the compensator. And also what we could do for our underbarrel attachment to compensate for the barrel climb, I would go with the angled foregrip. Even though it does reduces the first shot recoil by 33%, which this gun does have a very high first shot recoil which is a multiple of 3 compared to a lot of like light machine guns, which is just 1. So when you try to burst fire this gun, you want something that can help manage that recoil. Angle foregrip all the way. Trust me, when I put this thing on, this gun became a laser beam and a complete beast. Now that we are more informed of how this AEK performs in Battlefield 4, got a solid setup for it where all of this is really just meant to just maintain the wild recoil that this gun gives you, because it gives you great advantage with the rate of fire, but it comes with the disadvantage of having a lot of recoil, so that's why we put the attachments that we put on it to help compensate for that. Also, since a lot of weapons from Battlefield 3 have carried over into Battlefield 4, I thought about making this a series for you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like rating. And also, how about a comment on what weapon you would like to see next for me to do a comparison between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Because a lot of weapons have gone through a significant change. Some not as much as the AK, but a lot of weapons have changed quite a bit. Now, I am still unlocking a lot of the weapons. I do have almost all of the assault rifles though unlocked. So if you have an assault rifle that you want me to check out and give you guys some more info on, please leave a comment down below. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you again for watching the video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out.